Okay, a friend of mine and I were discussing, he was starting up a German army, and we were talking about the fearless veteran versus confident veteran, and how I was saying that the confident veteran is the sweet spot for the German army, which is probably why they have a lot of lists that fit into that, and that's why they do so well. One of the sweetest of the sweet spots is the Herman Goering Fallschirm Panzer Division. Um, This is something that I don't hear anybody but Dirty John talk about. You never see it in battle reports or anything like that, and I don't know why. It's a great unit. Yes, it's from an old book, but it really um, takes advantage of the German uh, equipment and abilities. It's a confident veteran formation, and they use older tanks like Panzer IIIMs and Ns. Ms are terrific, even though they have a short range. They have 3 rate of fire, so they get a lot of shots off if they stay stationary. In addition, you get all these Panzer divisions. You can put the Panzer IV-Hs in there. Um, Up to half of them can be Panzer IV-Hs in the platoons, and the command can be Panzer IV-Hs. You can get heavy tanks, assault gun platoon, um, motorized infantry, and a lot of 88s. In addition to that, it's one of the few units in late war that can get limited air support. So they are very much into the anti-air and aircraft, which is real nice. I like that. Even I know some people don't like aircraft, um, but the 88s just can't be denied. The reason why they really hit a sweet spot is because the Germans really need the veteran to be successful. They use that for their stormtrooper, especially their infantry. When you have German infantry, you can move stormtrooper to dig in and then dig in. Those are both skill checks. So, you can move your platoon up, you're in a bad position, but you stormtrooper, and then you dig in. So you moved up 6 inches and then you dig in. And that is very useful for moving up cautiously out in the open. No other troops, no other armies can really do that except for the Germans, so that's very useful. The confident part allows you to have more of these troops because it brings the price down from a fearless. However, the Hermann Goering, they are elite troops, so they get to re-roll all those morale checks for the platoons and for the company, which is very helpful. It almost completely masks the confident over the fearless. Not 100%, but it's such an advantage so that your guys don't run away that it really makes up for anything else. Now the difficulty is that most of their infantry go in trucks. You don't get the mechanized movement for the Germans, which is a thing that I'm sure turns off a lot of people. However, they survive very well. They have motorized movement, which allows them to do a skill check instead of a 5-up save against weapons with 5 or 6 firepower. Which, if you think about it, they're not going to hit you with anti-tanks. You got all these tanks running around because you got these cheap Panzer IIIMs. They're going to come at your infantry with maybe a bazooka, but mostly machine guns to try to chop up your infantry while they're in trucks. Well, with this rule, you can stay safe because you can do that skill check, that veteran skill check, to keep your guys safe. In addition to that, you get this special rule where your Panzer IIIMs for a couple more points can get 2 barbed wires. Also, they get they basically are like engineer trucks. If you have a platoon within command distance, they try to dig in. They allow them to re-roll. So you imagine you move up your troops, you stormtrooper, instead of moving, you dig in, and then you're near one of these guys, and you fail to dig in, you get to re-roll it. So a lot of re-rolls. I'm a big fan of re-rolls over better stats. They do up your chances of making it, making the roll. So they are very highly underestimated. You get all these 88s. That's great for anti-aircraft. That's great for shooting up tanks, and of course the limited. You get also heavy tanks. I mean, it's just an all-around great list. And you can see here for 4 tanks, it's 310 points for the Panzer IIIMs, and then you upgrade to the Panzer IV-Hs for 20 points each. So you get 2 Panzer IV-Hs and 2 Panzer IIIMs for a grand total of 350 points, which is really good. I mean, that's you're not going to get too many platoons with good German tanks that, you know, they're not designed to take out heavy tanks. You know, even the Panzer IV-Hs will have some tough time, but you will either have Tigers or Panthers and plenty of 88s if you want them. In addition, you're going to have some really good air support. So the Herman Goering Division, you have the Panzers here, and they have two others. They have a recon and an motorized infantry. I recommend, of all of these, I really like the Panzer because it's a separate box for the Panzers and for the heavy tanks. And the reason why that's important is that you need those heavy tanks to move into position and blow up whatever heavy tanks the other side has, and be able to challenge them. These are basically light tanks. The reason why you want them, also in the Army, is so that you can have the ability to re-roll your dig-ins, and then when you've got the position and you want to hold it, you know that you got there, you throw out these barbed wires to stop any infantry trying to cut through and get to your positions. So overall, a really good list. It's a finesse list. I mean, you really got to think about your build and what kind of tournament you're going to or what kind of opponents you're going to have. But because you have cheap German troops that are really very skilled, I like this book. It was the first book I ever got, and I really didn't understand it. And since I had so much time to read it and think it through, I really like the Herman Goering, and I'm looking forward to the compilation, see what they do to it, because they do need to fix the points. And they have a couple of extra special rules. For instance, they have the East Front experience for the 88s. What that used to do was allow your 88s to, when they were limbered, to become unlimbered and shoot their full rate of fire. Well, in the version 3 rules, as far as I understand it, they can do that anyway. So they don't need to do that skill check. I imagine when they update it, what they're going to say is that you can move and unlimber with a skill check and shoot your full rate of fire, something like that. That's what I'm guessing they're going to move it up as. And then they've got some other special rules, like with the light anti-air, that can basically become light guns and integrate themselves with the infantry. But yes, really good list, and I'm looking forward to their upgrade. You know, even though it's over a year, I like this list. Okay, I just wanted to mention something. I was talking about the Herman Goering Division, that you get 2 Panzer IV-Hs and 2 Panzer III-Ms for 350 points, and you can see here it's 360 for 4 Panzer IV-Hs. That's a comparable cost for better tanks here and for Confident Veteran, and that would look like it's about even and you're getting less tanks. But remember that the Herman Goering, you get the elite troops, which means that you get to re-roll morale checks, which is pretty significant. In addition to that, these are the updated costs. You know that the Panzer IV-H has got a discount. When we get the updated lists for the Herman Goering Division, I expect them to be more cheaper than this, probably somewhere in the range of 330, 320 even. So you'll see even more of a break when the new lists come out. So looking at the newer books, it is showing its age. Even though it was an excellent list when it first came out, it's still a pretty good list. And like I said, if you use it right, a small amount of points that you save can always help.